Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. So this video has been a long time coming, and that is my bronzer overview. And I'm really excited to be sitting down today and sharing with you my thoughts on a bunch of clean beauty bronzers. I've not tried every bronzer on the market because there are a lot, but I have tried quite a few and there have been a lot of new releases, so I thought it might be helpful for me to kind of round up the bronzers, try to swatch them side by side. And I'm also going to share with you what some of my favorite bronzers are. And I'm going to say this caveat, I have very fair skin and I struggle to find bronzers that I like. But there's Reagan, who also has very fair skin. And even though we both have a very, very similar skin tone, actually our preferences for bronzers are quite different. There are going to be some I'm going to talk about in this video that I really like, that I know that she doesn't like, and there's going to be some that I talk about that I don't like, that I know that she likes. And I'm going to try and explain to you my reasoning of why I like these bronzers and why I don't, in case you have similar preferences to me, or if you have the opposite preferences to me and I'm like, I love this bronzer, it's a little bit shimmery, and you're like, I hate shimmery bronzers, and you know, like, to skip that one. So hopefully it'll be helpful regardless. Also, I know that Kaki also did a bronzer video, and she has pretty fair skin as well. So if you want some more opinions, I would check that video out. I would of course check Reagan's out too. And that's one of the great things about YouTube is there's just so many people and so many different opinions and thoughts on products. So you can really find people who like what they look for in products aligns with you, and it can really help you navigate the space because there are a lot of products. And when I started in clean beauty, there were like, quite a few products, but now there are like a lot of products, and hopefully this video is helpful. So I'm going to talk about my bronzer, like my ideal bronzer. So I've discovered that I like a little bit of shimmer in my bronzer. I just think it really livens up my face and gives me a nice healthy glow. And I just find that for some reason, it tends to look a little bit more natural. I also am very picky about the exact shade of the bronzer. I would prefer things to be a little bit more on the golden glow side. I really don't like red bronzers at all. Like, they do not look good on my skin tone, and I don't like kind of orangey bronzers. They also do not look good. So I'm kind of staying in that more like neutral, bronzy, maybe a little bit of like golden glow category, and trying to stay away from like red or orange bronzers. And also I like things that obviously blend really easily, because to get a good bronzed look on your face, you need everything to blend. I've only tried out a very small handful of cream bronzers, but I can say that I typically prefer a powder bronzer to a cream bronzer, which I know is crazy because I love cream highlighters, I love cream blushes, but for some reason, I typically find that I just like the application and the way it looks better when I use a powder bronzer than a cream bronzer. I don't know why that is, but that's kind of where I'm at. So let's go ahead and start talking about the bronzers. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish, 7, 8-ish is because one product I'm going to talk about is not actually a bronzer, but I use it as a bronzer. I'm trying to think about how I want to start this off. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go with the one cream bronzer first, and then we can move on and just talk about powder. So I do have, I'm going to say I do have the RMS Beauty Broody bronzer. However, due to everything that has been happening and what's been going on with the RMS Beauty Instagram, I'm no longer going to be talking about RMS Beauty. However, I just want to say this is not the only cream bronzer I've used. I've also used that one as well. So I have a little bit of cream bronzer experience. But I am going to be talking about the Tower 28 bronzer. This is in the shade Bronzino. This bronzer does come in 2 different shades. Is that enough shades for everyone and their skin tones? Probably not, but at least it's better than just having one shade. And this is a cream bronzer. I really like the Tower 28 cream product formula. I have their blush, I have their highlighter. I actually am wearing their lip gloss today. I really just like the formula, and I think they know how to do a cream product well. This is a very much a shimmery golden bronzer. It can get a little red on me, but in general, it's definitely on the more shimmery side. I wish it was a bit more on the gold side, a little bit less red, but overall I do like the product. I have found that for myself and for using a cream bronzer, the best way to use it for me and to get the kind of look that I want and get it blended well is to use a brush. At first I was trying to like dab it on to my face and then blend out my fingers. Didn't really like how that was working. Then I tried dabbing it on and then using a brush to blend it out. Still didn't love that. The best way was to actually just take a stippling brush to something like this one from Real Techniques and just go directly into the product and then stamp it on and then use the brush to blend it out. That was the best way I could get this product to work. Like I said, I like it, but I just don't, for some reason, with cream bronzers, I just have a harder time getting them like blended up really near my hairline. And for me, that's really the way you can tell if you're using a bronzer or not is if it's not like blended up near your hairline, it looks kind of funny. Or, you know, along the sides of your face as well. I should mention that I feel like I'm doing this all out of order. I typically put bronzer like around the perimeter of my forehead and then like on the back part of my cheekbone, like up this way, so that it looks like I actually have been in the sun. I don't do any sort of contouring with the products, which I think is why I also tend to like products with bronze and still a bit of glow. I'm not trying to contour with them. So this product is fine. The tone of it is just like not quite right for me. And I just prefer the way that powdered bronzers look. I think they look more natural. But if you are curious about this, this is a really nice product. And I believe it's back in stock. It was out of stock for a while, and I believe it's still back in stock. But as you can see, it can be a smidge red. Okay, the next product I'm going to talk about is a powder bronzer, and this one is the W3ll People Bio Base Baked Bronzer in Natural Tan. I don't know if they have another shade in this bronzer. I'm not sure. Some reason my mind is telling me no, but I could be wrong about that. This bronzer I don't love. I know a lot of people do like this bronzer, but it's my skin tone problem. It is too red on me. And that's really the main problem I have with it. You can see it is quite a red color. You know, it's fine if you have a skin tone that can really take that and work well with it. But for me, I just look kind of red. Like it looks like I got my blush like kind of all over the place, which is not the look I'm going for with a bronzer. So although it is a nice baked formula, and I think W3ll People make some really lovely powdered products, and this is definitely a nice product in terms of formula, blendability, pigmentation, it's just not a great shade match for me. So that's kind of where it ends up. Okay, so this product here is from Hanna Cosmetics. Mine looks a little beat up. The plastic fell out of it. Actually, Reagan sent this to me quite a while ago. I should probably get a new one, but it's still a good product. It's just the little plastic thing fell out. So I do like this bronzer. I'm gonna swatch this one here. This is definitely a really nice bronzer for my skin tone. I should mention I have the shade in Malibu, and I don't know if I think there are other shades of the Hanna Cosmetics bronzer. Not sure it has a huge shade range, but I think there are some other shades. And I do really like this bronzer. It's doesn't have any shimmer to it. It's more of a matte bronzer, but hopefully you can see this here. It's definitely a bit more of just like a neutral brown, and it's certainly less red than the W3ll People and the Tower 28. So for that reason, it does work well for my skin tone. I do reach for this bronzer quite a bit. It is one that I really have been enjoying. I like the blendability of it. I like the level of pigmentation. It's just a nice, well-rounded bronzer, and it's at a pretty good price point. So if you're looking for like a little bit more of an affordable option and you want a matte bronzer, I would definitely recommend checking out the Hanna. I think Hanna in general makes a lot of really awesome products and kind of sneaks under the radar a little bit in the clean beauty space, but it definitely deserves a lot of love and attention, and that bronzer is a great example. Moving on to the next bronzer. This is the brand new Ilia bronzer. I believe there are 2 shades of this one, and this is in the shade Drawn In, which is the lightest shade of the bronzer. It is once again a matte bronzer. It doesn't have any shimmer to it. And this shade is not terrible, but as you can see, it is running a bit red. It looks a little bit more, actually now you can see how kind of neutral in tone the Hanna Malibu is, especially compared to the Ilia and the W3ll People and the Tower 28. So this one, I know a lot of people really like it, but for me, it's a little bit too red. It just pulls very red on my skin tone, and for that reason, I don't love it. Although the formula is really nice, once again, nice level of pigmentation, nice blendability, just too red for me. So there are 2 shades in this, but the lightest one does run a bit red. This next one here is actually one that really I don't hear many people talking about, and I think deserves way more love than it is given. And this is the Cloven Hallow bronzer. I don't remember which shade I have. It's actually, let me see if I can pop this out. Okay, I could have just looked this up online, but here I am being committed. So I have the bronzer in the shade Cabo. I believe there are also a couple shades of this bronzer. This is basically the same formula as their powder foundation, which I love, but in a bronzer form. And I love this bronzer. It is a purely matte bronzer, but out of the purely matte bronzers, it is one of my favorites. So as you can see, I've got a swatch down here. These swatches are huge, but hopefully you can see them really well. But this is the shade Cabo from Cloven Hallow. And as you can see, this is probably the most like golden of the bronzers. And that is why I love this. It just gives my face just like this nice, warm, golden look. I wouldn't say glow because it doesn't have any shimmer in it. But I absolutely love that. If you are looking for a bronzer shade and you're like me and you kind of like something a little bit more like golden, that is one of the best ones I found. And if you compare it to the hand's more neutral. This one's a little bit more golden. They both work, but honestly, out of the 2, I prefer the Cloven Hallow. It's also got the refillable packaging going for it, and it's just a really nice powder formula. Yeah, I can't say anything else. For quite a while, this was kind of my all-time favorite bronzer. It reminded me of one of the old Terry Mia Hero bronzers. She came out with one of, I still have it knocking around because I like can't get rid of it. But this was like the closest I found to matching that bronzer, but actually in a product that is still being made I can talk to you about. So this is a wonderful, wonderful bronzer. Okay, so next we're gonna move on to a very new release, and this is the PYT bronzer. This is in the shade Bali, and unfortunately there's only 1 shade of this bronzer. So I'm just gonna say right here, any company that releases 1 shade of a bronzer, shame on you. Like, it is just not going to work. Like, you need at least 2 shades, really more than that. I mean, look at Fenty. Fenty, I don't really follow Fenty, but I know that they released a lot of bronzer shades when they did their bronzer releases. And that just goes to show you that like everybody needs a different bronzer. Like what will bronze my skin tone will not bronze like someone with more olive, even like with the same complexion, but someone that has a more olive skin tone needs a different bronzer. And especially as you move to deeper and deeper and deeper skin tones, you're definitely gonna need different bronzer shades. So I will call you out PYT for that one, but this bronzer does work very well for my skin tone. And this is actually a cool concept. It's actually 2 bronzers, like it's a split pan. So you get a matte bronzer on this side and a shimmer on this side. And what I typically do is I just swirl my brush in both of them and apply it. And that looks really nice. I'm gonna, let's see, do I want to swatch these? Yeah, I'll swatch them individually and then together. So this is just the matte side of the PYT. This is the shimmer side of the PYT, and then this is the 2 sides together. I mean, I honestly could probably just use the shimmer side of the PYT because I really like that. It's a very golden. This one is a little bit more red tone, but when you get them together, it's a shade that does work pretty well for me, and I do like that it has shimmer in it. But like I said, this is definitely a product that will not work for every skin tone because there's only that 1 shade in it. I do like it, and I do think it's a cool idea for a bronzer. It doesn't work for all products, but for a bronzer, I think having a split pan actually makes a lot of sense because you can really control the amount of shimmer you have. Like, I like quite a bit below my bronzer, so I can really kind of go into the more shimmer side and make sure I'm picking up a lot of that on the brush. But if you are more of like a matte person, you can get like mostly matte, maybe a little shimmer, or if you really wanted to, you could just kind of like only focus your brush on one side or only on the other, which kind of only uses half the product, but it does give you that option. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. Okay, the final product I'm going to talk about is one that I feel like is very controversial, and I feel like I'm one of the only people that is like in love with this bronzer, and that is the Kosas, the new Kosas bronzer. And I have the shade Light. I believe there are 3 shades of this bronzer, which shout out to Kosas for that. But this is the lightest shade, but I love this bronzer. This is actually what I have on today. This is my bronzer of choice. Like if I wasn't testing out all these bronzers all the time, I'd probably just reach for this one all the time, to be honest. It can get a little reddish, but I just love the glow that it gives. Honestly though, if I could take this bronzer and put it in the shade of like this, of the Cloven Hallow powder foundation, of the Cloven Hallow bronzer, that would be ideal. But I do really like it, and I do like the shimmer that it has. I think that does help to counteract the redness, but I think I have a really nice natural looking bronze going today, which I am really, really enjoying. What I like about this product is obviously the glow. The shade is pretty good. When I watch the videos of people that don't like this product, the main comments I see is they don't like the fact that it's a glowy bronzer. So you got to come to terms with whether you are a glowy bronzer person or not. If you're not a glowy bronzer person, just skip that bronzer. You try the Cloven Hallow bronzer, try the Hanna Cosmetics bronzer, but skip the Kosas bronzer. If you are a glowy bronzer person, just be careful with this product and not get too much on your brush. You do have to blend it out, but when you do, I think it gives a really beautiful look. If you are having problems blending it out, a good tip I have is to grab your powder brush, like the brush you're using to like set the powder on your face, and use that to kind of help blend out the bronzer. I honestly do that with powder blushes. Sometimes I do it with a highlighter if I get too crazy with the highlighter. Like that's one of my biggest tips and tricks, is to get like a powder brush to help blend out products. But you know what was funny was when I was looking at that product and I was like, I really like this Kosas bronzer, and I was like, I think I've used something similar to it. And this is not a bronzer, but this is like the bonus product of this video. And this is the 100% pure gemmed luminizer, and this is in the shade Rose Gold. And this is supposed to be like a highlighter, but I have been using this for ages as a bronzer. And it is a little bit shimmery, but it honestly reminds me quite a bit of the Kosas bronzer. I've got it swatched all the way down here, so that's the final product. That is the 100% Pure Gems Luminizer. It's a little bit more shimmery than the Kosas bronzer, but it's still got the same kind of vibe, and is honestly a pretty good dupe for the shade in Light, which was pretty impressive. So I had been using that for quite a while as a bronzer, because I just really like the shimmer it gave. I like the glow it gave. I just thought it worked well on my skin tone, and it turns out that Kosas reminds me a lot of it. But so what I would say overall is my recommendations, if you have very fair skin tone and you want a shimmer, like a shimmery glowy bronzer, definitely the Kosas. I love it. I also really have been liking the PYT bronzer, and I like that it's a little bit more customizable. If you want something matte, I would highly recommend the Cloven Hallow bronzer in Cabo. I think that is really, really underrated. Same with the Hanna Cosmetics bronzer in Malibu. So hopefully you found this helpful. My voice is getting really tired. I feel like I've been talking a lot today, but I hope you found this helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section down below what some of your favorite bronzers are. And also be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell button so you are notified of when I post new videos. And also be sure to check out my Instagram. I'm at naturallybeautifulgirlkat to see more of me there. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.